Well, this is not very much food left over. I think maybe I'll have to cook today. I don't have a lot of food left. I've got some onions. I think I have a tomato. I've got a lot of chile coyotes, these weird foods. They're big melon-like things. I think they're called mullet bar gourds or something. And they're not that great. They're kind of boring. But they are food mass, and they're easy to grow. I have tons of them. I mean, they're like this big each one. So the one problem is one person often don't feel like it's worth it to eat them. But if I'm not eating what I'm growing, that's really silly. So when there's people here, my mornings are different because I'm immediately focused on the plan of the day and making sure that they're highly productive and focused. The first goal in the morning is to get everybody on the same schedule, get them on the same page. I don't want this to be like an all-inclusive resort where people are all just playing all the time and not actually getting anything done. And that is their nature. And so they'll be very scattered. And I've gotten good at that with groups. What I do is I have breakfast here in this building that I provide. I have an egg dish I make, and I can try and entice them with some hot tea. I can turn internet on and use that as a draw. So I can actually turn internet on to get them here. A lot of people, they really want that internet. And then turn the internet off, feed them, and they chat and have a nice morning. Everybody gives each other morning hugs. And then they're all ready to start the day together. What I used to do is I let them make their own breakfast in a little house down there, and I still do this if there's only one or two people because it's easier. But if people are off making their own breakfast and they're scheduled to show up at like 8:30 or 9 to start the day's work, the day's projects, what happens is invariably some of those people are late. And they say, oh, well, I had to clean up the kitchen. Okay, well, you didn't plan ahead then, and you didn't do things right. Now you're late. If you have some people starting late in the group, and this is true in any employment environment, you can't just show up whenever the hell you want. You know, we're not playing here. We're not dumbass little children. Sorry, I should insult children. Children are actually more responsible than the people I've dealt with. You've got to start together. You've got to be punctual, and have things like shoes on your feet, and have whatever it is you need, and not immediately have to say, oh, now I need a piece of fruit. I didn't eat breakfast, and it's just no. We have to get on the same page. That's not optional. If you just want to get a bunch of dumbass hippies together, okay, go play. Go play somewhere else. This is a working environment. I'm now, having donors that I should be serving. I want to do this for myself too, because I actually want to build a better world. I don't want to talk about it. Well, we're going to talk about it as well. But you have to actually do it. You have to break away from the existing world as it is and build a new one to replace it. And saying that's really easy. Doing it is a bunch of work that we have to do in a coordinated way. And the people who are oppressing us in life, ourselves really, the oppressive systems we support are highly organized. Militaries don't just go around the world like dumbass hippies doing whatever they want. No, they're very disciplined. Governments are very disciplined in controlling you. And that's why you work for them. That's why you live as a slave to them. Because they're organized. And so if you're going to fight against them, if you're going to be a free person in society, then you're going to have to borrow that habit of getting control of yourself. If you don't have control over yourself, somebody else is going to have control over you. And they will use you however they want to. So if you want to be in this space, or if you're watching, I hope you appreciate the concept and you can implement this in your own life. You can start to have discipline to creating the life you want to have, which hopefully is a good life that is not just part of being evil in the world. But the evil people are very disciplined. I'm not by nature that disciplined. That's one of the reasons I like to be alone, is because I don't want to have to show up on time to anything. I want to do what I want to do. But I see this in myself, this struggle between being in an organized system where I need to do things at certain times to coordinate life versus being a hippie living in the woods kind of just ignoring a lot of reality, which is what I do a lot of the time. I have things on my list I don't get done. If I was getting paid to do this, I would get it done. It'd be my job. Now, in a sense, I'm now getting paid to do what I do. I get this small amount of donations that keep me barely surviving. I make less than a bum would in Seattle. And I watch as my life falls apart. I'm hitting rock bottom. I don't know how much more rock bottom I can get, you know? And I'm hoping that as I hit rock bottom that I'm not finding my grave, but that I find a place to build a foundation for the world I want to live in. I'm hoping I can build a foundation to solve the world problems everybody else just talks about. And the people actually protest against climate change. They are climate change. The rich, spoiled children of the industrial world are out there protesting the organizations that provide them with their cheap energy. They're protesting themselves. It's like a drug addict protesting their drug dealer. And you know, maybe there's a place for that. I don't know, but it seems really bizarre and hypocritical to me. So back to morning. This is the store here, where it's a terrible store, very badly organized. There's a window here that opens up, and I've got some products that people like. I've got some soap and condoms and earplugs and guitar strings, which I've always given away. One of the reasons to have a store is because when I have people come here, I've been providing everything. People come to me every day, and they say, oh, I need this, I need that. You know, I've never actually sold a tampon or a pad or whatever these are. Because, you know, when you come, they say, oh, I need this. And like it's a big surprise to them that they're bleeding. It's not the first time it's happened, but they come unprepared because they've never been in a place where they had to, you know, actually take care of themselves. And so I've just always said, okay, yeah, here's one. So it's been easier. But I do need to have a store where, for all the things people think they need, and probably do, you know, they get a headache, and so I give them a pill. And there are candles, you know, I used to give away candles. I used to give away everything. I was just paying for everybody's experience. So now I need to have this little store and then have it be open sometimes and people can buy what they want. Town is not that far away. It has some things. People can buy that stuff. They shouldn't come to me and say, oh, I need to borrow a pen. Can I borrow your pen? I actually carry 2 pens when there's people around because that happens so often. But what I need to do is say to people, no, you're failing. It's on your list to have a pen. You need to be a functional human being if we're going to get anything done. And so people have to have a day pack with all the shit they need in it and be prepared. Be prepared. Think like a person who's functional and trying to get things done. Anyway, that's the store. Why am I always so negative in these videos? I'm so damaged. It's ridiculous. Like, I actually don't want people here. If you read the webpage and you read the application, I drive people away. And that's actually not bad. My goal is not to have a bunch of people here. There's people online who have said, like, oh, well, you know, you're a failure because you don't have a bunch of people there. It's like, actually, I'm a success because I don't have people here in the wrong ways. I've stopped having them here in ways that don't work out. On the other hand, to have it succeed, I do have to figure out ways to have people here. That is a nearly impossible task. As I talk to these people who want to set up intentional communities, and there's lots of them, lots of people say that, but there's almost no intentional communities that exist. So there's some kind of disconnect there. And I actually have useful thoughts about that I could probably express in a nicer, more positive way, where I can help them outline the problems they're going to have and then figure out their solutions for those. And I would like to hear their solutions for those because I might want to use some. I still have faith. I still have desire to build something here. Maybe I just want to create a family for myself. That could be okay. But I would like something bigger than that. I want a real functioning cultural laboratory where people are producing, where they know what they're doing, where they have their own projects, where they're using their own skills and motivations to in this space, create with other people just amazing solutions they can share with the world. So I still believe in that goal. But I do need to, and I guess I'm doing that partly in this video, in this series of videos, expressing some of the failures in systems and some of the things that you would have to do in order to have things actually work. Even an example like the store. You're going to have a way to help people meet their own needs and not have them just mooch off of you. So I guess it's not that bad that I'm being kind of negative. I do actually like people overall. I love the people who have come here, most of them except the sociopaths. You do have to have a protection plan for yourself against them. That's probably 5% of people, depending on how you define it. And then how you're going to avoid another 50% of people who are trained to be moochers and they're looking for that. You can get rid of a lot of them with selection by weeding them out, and I've weeded them out entirely. Unfortunately, right now I'm not even accepting good people in many cases because I don't want to pay for them. And so I have to set up this value proposition of what is it I offer and then what do they get, and make sure I serve them well. Like the guests who have come this year and paid, they were not served that well, in my opinion. Now, they had a good time. The guy, even after he left, and he had paid to be here, after he left, he then donated. And I need to send him a thank you note. It's another thing on my list to do. Because he did actually, as he thought about it later, he had an interesting experience. And so he donated. That was just amazingly great. Thank you. But I don't like underserving people. I have fairly lofty visions, and so I felt like I underserved them. And that's another reason I need to assemble a core team of people here who are serving people that come here. So I'm not the only one doing it, because I get tired real quick. I spend a lot of years alone, and I can't spend, 12, 14 hours a day just entertaining and teaching and taking care of people. It's too much for me. I don't want the job. So I want the job of founder. I'll teach things. I like to write. I'll do some media stuff and videos. But I can't just take care of everyone all the time. I can't be the only one doing that. So I'm actually this year looking for people. Actively, I'm talking with a few right now who want to live here. Again, I get the issue of, are they going to pay or not? Because as soon as they're not paying, then I can't make them work, because I can't say, well, if you're not working, you're not going to, I need to be paying them ultimately, and I am paying them by having them here. But they've got to be paying for that. Somebody's got to, because they're getting free housing, free everything, and for some of these people, it's just hippie paradise, and then I have no way to make them work other than struggle with them if they're not very self-motivated. And most self-motivated people are off working and making money. They're not traveling around the world for free. So I'm in this tricky situation, but I'm getting better at going out and looking for people, and I'll be very careful about who I actually accept. I'm very careful how I manage that, because ultimately it's a management problem. I have this ideal that everyone's just going to manage themselves and be great people, but unfortunately I have to take kind of a leadership role that I don't want. Maybe I just need to find a few people who want to be in a leadership role. They can take that, and they could even make money. I want people to have jobs here that they get paid to do, and then other people are paying to be here, and I can then have kind of part of the life I want. Like, I can't even leave. I can't take vacation. I can't take the day off. I haven't gone to the beach in 7 or 8 years, and it's like 4 hours away. I have dogs to take care of. I'm trapped here. And I'm more trapped here when there's other people here. So I have to figure out a way out of the situation I'm in. And a lot of that does have to do with money. People say, oh, don't worry about money. Those are people with money. I've actually had rich travelers come here and tell local poor people, why don't you just go traveling? Just go traveling. It's really free. You can just volunteer and stuff. These are people with real, actual lives who are trying to take care of their families. And it is the most arrogant, ignorant thing to say to them, oh, just go play. My God, those people are just so unaware of themselves. and they have no comprehension of how poverty works. I should write some of these thoughts down. They are complex, and so one of my fears with doing videos like this is that people will just pick up on a few things I say that offend them, you know, like that everything shouldn't be free. Shocking. Because it is a complex mix of thoughts, and I think if there's any benefit to these kind of videos, it's to show the connection of ideas together in a more free-form way. But ultimately, the more valuable thing to do is to focus in and write up how certain things function, like how does poverty function, and what is our role in it as people from the first world with lots of opportunities. That's a very complex topic, and it's something that the vast majority of people are not in a position to understand very well. So that's on my list of things to do, is to, you know, write up everything about how to solve all the world's problems while I just try and get through my day and keep the dogs alive. And yeah, I've got one bag of dog food left. I didn't feed the dogs yesterday because I'm trying to save on food, which is a terrible thing to do. They won't die. But, you know, so I'll open that bag of dog food. I've got $50 I think I sent down. It takes 4 to 5 days for money from PayPal to get down to here. And so I have to plan for this person. I don't want to fail with her. I don't know how she'll respond to being the only person here with me. I need to pick very carefully what she focuses on and make sure it's fulfilling for her. But I have to plan it well. It's very difficult for that to be successful with one person, because I just can't provide them all that they need, like socially. It's much better if there's more people here. I can't accept more people because if I'm paying for them, then I have even less money. I don't know how I'm going to pay for her. The first thing we can do is try and make videos. I think she'll be good on video. I like that she speaks Spanish and she knows that we're going to work on some videos to once again start publishing. I should always be uploading videos. That's really important. I've gotten kind of shy. I feel a little beaten down. I feel like a failure. And so I haven't been uploading a lot of videos and publishing them. I'm not meeting my own expectations of what I want to do and what I want to share here. So it's been tough. But it doesn't matter. Even if I have to show a guy failing, well, that might be instructive for somebody. It's of course easy to criticize me. I get that all the time. I will tell you this, I doubt you could do better. Most people would give up, and I am actually very successful by my standards. Sometimes people say, well, you're failing at doing this, but I'm not trying to do that. You know, like for example, one of my goals is not to be fully self-sufficient here, to produce everything I use. People just make that up, that that's my goal, and then they're like, well, you have plastic over there, you have criticizing things. They're like, that's a ridiculous goal anyway. And when people have thought, I mean, I get people who say, well, you can't be all self-sufficient and off the grid with everything. It's like, yeah, I know that. I mean, I'm not sure they've listened to me at all. In fact, all of the comments on YouTube, like 90% of them are just idiots. Those of you who do comment, thank you. Comment on this video if you want. But make a useful comment, you know? And don't toss me problem solutions that I've already thought about. You know, step it up. Make your interaction be high enough quality for me to think you're a useful person in my world. I hopefully am useful in yours. The most useful thing I can do is be very honest with you and show the real struggles of doing something like this. I know I don't have a normal life, and many people tell me it's inspirational and really great, but I need to be communicating things that actually help people do better than what I'm doing, which is very difficult. I'm happy that I've run out of money, because it's caused me to get rid of tons of waste in my life, even though I was living simply before. It's really easy to pretend to be living sustainably and off the grid and all this stuff if you have lots of money to throw at any problem you have. But running out is very instructional. And so what I need to do as I seek resources, as I seek sponsors, and I seek paying participants and all this, is I need to think about what I need to do here. I need to not forget the lessons. I need to not forget the lessons that I've learned, and when I have resources, not just start like buying more tools because they're cool, or getting distracted by really great projects that will end up being half-finished projects. I need to make absolutely certain I focus on core things, that I'm very ordered, and that I'm not distracted by other people's crazy ideas. I love the crazy ideas. I have big lists of them. I want to plan them out, but it's very important we focus on things that will cause more success and not things that will cause more work to maintain. I don't need to create more things that need maintenance. Like, I could get, animals or something that need more care. And actually, I do need to get some animals that are ruminants because I'm increasing my fire risk hazard because nothing is eating the stuff. I mean, there's a lot of factors to go into like what I should be doing. And that's one of the reasons that I can't really respond to people who tell me what I should be doing, because they don't know. You don't know what I should be doing. And so, I get people telling me what I should do all the time. Of course, it's usually not donors. They're just talking out of their ass. Hey, you should do this. You should do that. And it's like, no, have some respect, have some intelligence. I'm actually making very smart decisions here, even though I'm not successful. If I am successful, maybe I'll start selling art again or whatever I can do, then I need to be very careful. And don't forget the lessons of poverty. That is my goal. And I need to actually write those down because it's so easy to forget them. I mean, you look at income inequality in the world, and you look at resources available, and the mindset that people have is just so radically different. You often find richer people looking down on poor people, saying, well, they could do this to do better. And they think they know better than the poor people. When the poor people are actually very rational. They're really smart about using resources well. Now, it's true that poor people do dumb stuff as well, but in many cases, it's things that look dumb. It looks like short-term thinking that the rich person doesn't understand why the person would do that, but it's actually an entirely rational decision on the part of the poor person. At the same time, there are actually poverty mentality things where people don't make good decisions and they keep themselves poor. But when rich people are judging the poor people, they're usually wrong. We need to be very cautious about identifying those kind of poverty mentality patterns. And I'm identifying them in myself, of like, as I'm despondent and stuff, like how am I using my time? I feel trapped. I'm not always using my efforts correctly. And I need to remember that. Now I'm in a special case because I do have other options. I suppose I could just give up on all this and rejoin the normal system and be part of the oppressive power structure. And that puts me in a very different position than some of the people I know. But I still have to remember the lessons I've learned. Anyway, now I'm just rambling, and I'm going to go try and enjoy part of my morning. I will upload these videos and share them with you. Yay. I hope you get something out of it. And donate something, by the way. Especially if you're critical of what I'm doing, or you're not. What I'm doing is interesting. It's tough. And I cannot express to you how frightening and difficult it is at this point. I'm not making it. I am failing completely. So this is me begging, I guess. I mean, whatever. Do what you want. You certainly don't have to donate a damn thing. Anything I've done to myself. And you don't have to give a shit at all. But if you think it's interesting enough to make a negative or a positive comment on YouTube, then please do more than that and actually donate. And you won't just be keeping me alive, because if I can get enough donations, then I get to start doing more interesting things again in better ways, get a better camera with better audio, host more interesting people, and start to really entertain and educate in better ways for you. So, thanks.